Well, good afternoon and welcome back to my channel. If you're new to the channel, welcome. I was playing in my craft room with the new tab maker punch with creative memories, and I was just thinking, oh, I can do this. I can do this. I can do this. I love exploring with some of the tools and finding other things you can create with them. So join me in the craft room. I'll show you some of the new ideas that I've came up to expand the versatility of this punch, and write in the comments things that you may have done that I didn't think of. Always great to share and inspire.
So of course our tag punch has initially been designed to make tags, but the tag itself is quite large. It's 1 3/4 inches by 1/2 inch. So if you slide your piece of paper in, right, slide it into the space, pop it out there, you will get a tag, right, that's 1 3/4 inches by 1 1/2 inches. So I'm saying, what happens if you want a tag that's a little bit smaller than that? So in order to do that, you're going to take your piece of paper. We know it's 1 1/2 inches wide, so we'll start with a slip of cardstock or paper. That's the 1 1/2 inches. But rather than sliding it all the way through, we're going to run it up a little bit. And we are going to make our tag that way. So let's slide it in here. So now I'll make my first punch. And for the second punch, we want to go on this side, but we can mark where we want it to be. So if I want a smaller one, rather than 1 3/4, I want a 1 1/2 inch tag, I'll just line it up. I can measure across here and then just pop it in and go from there. So let's reset that one and make something smaller. I'll slide it in. Gonna do my first side. Slide it in again. We'll do our second side. Slide it from that side, and then we'll just decide how far we want it to be. So we can decide if we want it a 1/4 inch, a 1/2 inch, whatever you'd like. So there's a really nice tiny tag, but you may just want to have something that small. So punch your first side, adjust your width, punch your second side. Right now I'm going to show you how you can use your tag punch to make a nice title block in which you can put your titles in. So I'll show you the one with the outside and the inside edge. So first off, we're going to take our tag punch, we'll flip it over. Now if I want to have a border that's got the male edge to it where it's protruding out, I'm going to take my cardstock. Of course, with this time, I am going to cut a piece that is less, it's just a hair less than the 1 1/2 inches, so it can slide inside my border punch here. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to start by making my first piece to give you my outside edge. Now here I can go ahead and measure how wide, how long I want my border to be. So let's say I want to make a 3-inch border piece. I'm going to slide that edge to the 0. Let's go 2 1/2. Yeah, 3. So I'm going to go up here to the 3-inch, and that's where I know my stop point is. So again, now I need to make my back half. So I'm going to come in from this side and grab my piece of paper. And when I get to the little mark I made, I know I'm at my 3-inch spot, and I can go ahead and take that off, and I've got a nice 3-inch punch. If you want to make your border on your reverse edge, where you're going to have a female edge to both sides, let's say I want to make this one 3 1/2, I do have my first piece done. So now I need to go ahead and make my back piece. So again, I'll slide from the other direction this time, and I can decide how long I want it to be. So let's go here at the 0 at the inside of the notch. Make it 2 1/2. So from the inside of the notch there to the inside point here is 2.5 inches. So now I'm going to punch it again, and I have my other block, title block piece that I can go ahead and add my labels on. So sometimes you get a piece of memorabilia that you want to add to your album, and you want to keep some of the contents to see the postage, where it came from, or the person's handwriting. So you may want to store it as a little envelope inside one of your flaps. So you cut the side end off so you can get at it, but it's a little tricky to grab the edges. So what I'm going to show you today is how to use your tab punch to make a notch. So we're just going to take our little envelope here. We are going to slide our punch in just so it's even to the edges, like so. Give ourselves a nice little square, and we'll take off that one little piece of paper on that side. So now if I go ahead and insert my contents again, we've got this nice little notch, which will make it easier to grab things. So that's it. Fast and simple. I'm going to show you how you can make a window border using your tag punch. And there's two types of borders you can make. One will have 6 windows across the border, and the other one will have 5 windows. I'm going to show you both so you can decide which you might want best for your projects. When you do finish punching your windows, you can take photos that are 1 3/4 by 1.5 inches, and they will fit perfectly inside your windows. So before we started, of course, you do have to mark your punch so that you have a mark starting 1/4 of an inch in from the outside edge. So easy enough to do that is to just line up your punch on a piece of paper, then grab a little pencil and make that mark. For this demonstration, because the punch that doesn't require 6 punches, just 5, you will have some extra paper left because it will not take the whole length of the sheet. So for that demonstration, I am going to show you I am going to start it at the flush with the edge of the punch, and my end piece will be at the 1/4 inch. And then when I flip it around to show you the 6 punches, you can see the difference. So for this one, I'm going to start by lining up my edge of my paper to the edge of the punch, nice and square in there, and I will make my first punch. And then I'm going to proceed ahead and advance it so that the edge of my punch here matches the white edge of my punch, just like so. So you just run your finger there. When you feel it touch, you know you're ready to start your next punch. So go ahead, and we'll go ahead and make the last 4 punches on that one. So there's number 1, advance it. And your final punch will give you your 1/4 inch at the edge. So that is my 5 windows across the edge. I will have to snip a bit off here to space it out nicely when I'm done. So we'll flip it around and we'll do our 6 punches. Get rid of my scraps. And and we'll slide it in again. Now don't forget, for this side one here, you are going to want to start at that 1/4 inch line that you've made. So we're just going to slide it in to the 1/4 inch line, and that will be our first punch. And for these ones here, as you slide it forward, you're going to want to advance your punch so that the little tab that's coming out here, the point, is just touching the metal line on the inside. Just like so. And that will be where your second punch is. So there's your next punch. Let's go ahead to the third one. I'm going to go up to the middle. And this one will give you your 6 punches across the page. You can see the difference in the spacing. The nice thing with the 5s is that you can go ahead and with a piece of paper or a ruler, you can slide it underneath that edge, and then using your multi-tool, you can give it a little score. And then you can do some creative folding back on itself to make a nice page design, especially if you have a nice design on your double-sided paper. Another thing you can do is, of course, cut these off and make your perfect size square window frames. As you see here with my 5 punches, I did insert some photos across to make a cute little border, and I did fold the backside edges up to show off the reverse of the paper, and that'll go great on my completed page. So many embellishment kits you get from different distributors, a lot of them will have some parentheses in them, which are great little accents to add to your scrapbook page. You can make those with your tab punch. So I'll show you how to do that. I found the best way was at the 1/4 inches. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm just going to mark my paper here. Going to start with a 1/2 inch mark just for a start point for my first tab, and then I'm going to go ahead and add some 1/4 inch marks to make my parentheses. So I'm just going to go here and here so that when they punch them, they are going to be the same spacing. So there we are, that's all marked. We'll flip our punch over, and I'm gonna feed my paper in, and I'm gonna stop when you see my 2 little hash marks, even with the metal on the edge. And you can always just squeeze down just slightly so it pinches without cutting. That way you can make a final adjustment and give it the first punch, and that will get rid of the first one. Again, we are punching on the back side of any paper we're using. I'm just doing demos with white, so white against black shows up well for you, but if you are using printed paper, you don't want to be having the side with the writing on it on your page. So you'll do all your notations on the back side and then flip it over. But here we are, so I've got my first one here. Now I'm going to go in again. This is at the 1/4 inch from the edge. I'm going to slide both edges nice and even again, and there's my parenthesis number 1. And I'm going to go again. I'm at a 1/4 inch mark here. Tilt it towards me a little bit so I can see, and then still try to keep it straight for your camera view. There we are. Nice and tight, centered, edges, edges. Second punch, and there we are. A nice little set of parentheses for an album page. Tag punch, parentheses. Bonus. All right, let's use our tab punch to make a tag. So again, we'll take our strip of paper. I am going to go with the slightly less than the 1.5 inches. Of course, if you do make one wider, you certainly can. You'll just have to cut off part of the shoulder that's going to stick out a little bit. So I'm just going to slide in here, and I'm going to give myself a little bit of an edge, and then I'm going to decide how long or how big a tag I want. Oh, let's make this one, I don't know, 2.5 inches looks good. So go from the shoulder down to the 2.5 inch mark on my trimmer, and then we're going to take our new Creative Memories handheld hole punch, and we're going to line it up. Best way to do your sighting on this one to make sure everything's centered is you're just going to line it in so that both sides look even with your machine. And if you take the screw and if you line it up with the top edge, it will give you a nicely centered hole that way. So if I give it a punch about there, I should have a nice tag punch. And there we go.
Thanks again for watching this video. I am going to post some links to some other videos I have made using the Creative Memories tools, because you will find them very helpful. If there's anything that you saw in this video that you would like, my link to my shopping site is in the description below. If you're already working with an advisor, surprise them with an order. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and we'll see you in the next one.